Hey Camus, this is your Superintendent Dr. Anzalone with another edition of What's Up. Happy New Year, first of all. I am here with the incredible team from transportation. We get a lot of questions all the time about how snow days or inclement weather days are called, and although it is the superintendent's ultimate decision, it's really this incredible team of experts who help collaborate and share their input when we make those decisions. So I wanted to just take a minute today to introduce this incredible team and have them share a little bit with you about how these days go. So we have Director of Transportation Tammy, and then from Transportation we have Miles, Rodney, and Doug with us today. Again, thank you so much for what you do every day. I know it's sometimes an unforgiving job, and you're the unsung heroes. But I just want you to know how much we appreciate each and every one of you and what you do. So, Tammy, tell us a little bit about how we start the process. I know it doesn't start the morning of, right?
No, we actually start watching inclement weather days in advance. We contract out with a meteorologist, and so I'm in constant contact with him, and he really tells us whether it looks like we may need to check roads or maybe we only need to check the higher elevations. And so at that point then I notify the team that Doug and I actually are the ones that are responsible for going out on the mountain, and then Rodney heads over to the east side of the district, and then Miles checks the west side.
So it's really not just about the mountain. We really have eyes and ears on all parts of the city.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, and we have identified, or the guys have identified, areas in the past that have been known problem areas, certain streets that are shady, maybe get more of the influence from gorge winds and temperatures. So those are definitely areas that we want to go out and check first.
Great. So Doug, what's your role in this process?
Just basically going up, looking on all the roads and stuff, and then over the years you develop what areas are problem areas, because I've kind of run a few of the areas of west side and up on the mountain, and there's a lot of times we got weather that it absolutely beautiful up on the hills, and get into town on the west side of Prune Hill, it's a total sheet of ice.
Yeah, and so we actually get concerns like that from families. Even on the last inclement weather day in my neighborhood, it was sun shining, and parents will say, well, we have sun shining, why are we calling this day? But we really look at the landscape of the entire city, right?
Yep.
So what about you, Rodney?
Okay, I'm on the, like Tammy said, the east side, and that covers over Lookout Ridge area, and then over Woodburn Mountain, Woodburn Hill there, and back up by the high school, and just watching for ice and particular areas that we know that are troublesome. We usually start out about 3:30 in the morning, so we can make it back in time to give our report to Tammy, and then she gives it to John, and then they make the decisions on whether or not we're going to be going to school 2 hours late or whatever we need to do to make a safe trip for the students getting to school.
Yeah, and talking about safety, we have a lot of student drivers on the roads, but also we need to protect the kids and the drivers that are on these big machines, and so a lot of that goes into play too, is the safety aspect for the people that are riding on these. Miles, what about yourself? What's your role?
So I cover the west side of the district. My biggest problem area that I cover is Dorothy Fox, and we always say that Dorothy Fox has like its own weather pattern, because it'll be beautiful everywhere else and it's like snowing up there, a sheet of ice, but I also go all the way. I do Prune Hill, go all the way basically to 192nd, and then just kind of jog my way back all the way down to kind of Lake Road, and then we come back this way. But yeah, I'd say definitely Dorothy Fox for me, for my area, is the biggest problem area.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's a huge team effort that goes into this, and not just a snap decision. And ultimately, being the superintendent, I take it really, to heart when we make that decision, because we know it also upsets the apple cart, and people are trying to get to work and all those things. So we really do care about all that, because not only are we district employees, but most of us are parents as well. So Miles, you talked a little bit about safety, and you did too, Doug. And I was doing a little research, and I realized that in the late 1800s, school buses were basically just horses with carts and little benches that kids would go to school on. And looking at these buses, they've come a long way. And I recently heard about some of the safety features, the chains that happen on these buses. Tammy, can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, I call them OnSpots. That's the brand name that we use, but they're automatic chains, and they're installed just in front of the rear duals, so that when we flip a switch, those chains will drop and rotate, so that the rear duals will catch the chain up underneath to give us some traction.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, really exciting. We're going to take a trip on one of these buses and show you how that works. But in the meantime, again, I just want to thank you all for what you do every day. I know that that's just one part of your job, especially this time of year. But I tell you all the time, the drivers in this district are some of the kindest, biggest hearts that I've ever seen. And my own kids ride the bus to school here, and they wake up and that's the first smile they see in the morning, and sometimes the last smile they see. And we really respect the drivers so much and what you guys do behind the scenes to keep those buses rolling. So thanks so much.
Mhm.